So my name is Lindsay Hackett, and I am a project planner for the City of Bryan in Development Services. So on August 7th, we had a public open house for Bryan Midtown, and we had posters set up to show the different aspects of the plan, and people were able to come and look at the different things that we had to show them. And we didn't have a public presentation. We really just focused on the posters and gave people an opportunity to ask us questions and for us to kind of talk through the plan itself. The plan right now is still in draft form, and we're hoping to take it to council for consideration in about late fall of 2019. And if it's approved, then we could potentially see some additional changes that come from the recommendations of the plan. And then potential development related to Midtown could occur as early as the beginning of 2020. So at the public open house, we presented over 20 different posters, and we were able to kind of divide those out into different groups. At the beginning, the public was able to see posters that describe the boundary of Midtown. They explain the process, the public engagement that we did at first, and what we've been doing, and also some of the economics and the market analysis behind the studies that we've done of Midtown itself. And then as you kept moving forward, it shows you one of the two key aspects of the plan, which is the South College with its catalytic sites. And the catalytic sites are those kind of focal points of potential development that I'll talk about more in just a minute. And then also, as you kept going, you were able to see some examples of what the pattern zoning includes, and each poster that described what those buildings could look like and what potential changes could come there with these new opportunities with the pattern zoning. For the public engagement, we have been really pushing to get the community engaged with this project and just get the word out about what's going on and get the input from the community, from those that live in Midtown, work in Midtown, might visit Midtown, all of the above. So what we've done is we've had 4 public meetings, each with its own different style and input process so that we can kind of engage all different people. For one of those meetings, we even sent a direct mail out to every property owner and every tenant within Midtown, just trying to get the word out. Now, some of those had to come back from the mail, they didn't quite make it through, but we've been really pushing. We've been engaging on social media. We've had over 15,000 impressions on Facebook itself. And we've also been going on the news, going on the radio, just really pushing to get the word out about Midtown. And we're really excited about the success that we've had with that for everyone that's gotten involved. We're really grateful to the community for just engaging and asking their questions and being willing to work through some of these things with us. When we were doing the market analysis of the Midtown area, one of the things that we found was that the fastest growing population group by percentage actually isn't the students. It's actually the age group of 35 to 44 and 65 and over. And so the fastest population groups are going to want certain types of housing and have certain needs. And so we want to make sure that as the city grows, we're providing those different needs and wants that meet and match the types of growth that we have in our community. Within the Midtown boundary are 5 experience districts. And the experience districts are separated out because the recommendations that might come for one that's located in the north are going to be a little bit different from one of the ones that's located more to the south. And it's a different experience within each one. And to the outside of the experience districts, you have the influence areas. And the influence area helps the core of Midtown kind of filter back into the rest of Bryan. The plan for Midtown is sort of divided into 2 key aspects. The first aspect of the plan really focuses on South College and potential changes that might happen there. So it could include improvements to South College itself. That could be more street trees, a better path along South College Avenue, but also some increased growth for retail and shops and restaurants and things like that. And so with this type of growth, one thing that we've done is we have something called catalytic sites. And this is a proposed plan of recommendation of what certain properties could look like if they redeveloped. And so this is just an option that someone could utilize if they wanted to redevelop their site. and they're kind of sprinkled throughout Midtown, but they do have a focus along South College Avenue. Along South College, we're also looking into some potential zoning changes that will change some development standards to allow for more flexibility and increased high-quality development opportunities. With the increased attention on Midtown, more people may want to be moving to Midtown or utilizing new opportunities for their property. And so we've already seen a lot of growth in the area. And so one thing that we're trying to do is create opportunities that fit Midtown and are appropriate for the neighborhood integrity that exists already in the community. Pattern zoning is where you have pre-approved building plans that are allowed in specific places under specific conditions. And so for Midtown, we're able to utilize 4 different patterns, and at the Midtown Open House, we're able to show what some renderings of those could look like, and we also had some maps that show where they might be allowed to go. And this is all draft right now, and so nothing's set in stone, but we're able to kind of show to the public where the different patterns might be showing up in Midtown. The first pattern that we talked about is the cottage pattern. And so this is a small house that could be utilized in the back of someone's property, and they might be able to rent it out as an income property, or they could build it on an individual lot and just have a smaller home that's a little bit more affordable and easier to maintain. The next pattern that we have is called the flex house. With the flex house, all you would have to do is make one small change, and that would convert it from 1 unit to 2 units. And so we like this because as a family grows and increases how many children they have and needs a little bit more room, then they'll be able to utilize the full space of the home. But let's say if it's they become empty nesters, then they'd be able to separate out the other unit and then maybe use that as an income property or rent it out to someone else. The third pattern building is called the apartment house. And this looks just like a single family home, and it's been specifically designed to fit within Midtown, but it actually has 3 separate units. And so we think that this is a good option where you can have different types of people living under one roof, but it would still fit within the neighborhood integrity of Midtown. So this is just one example of what the pattern could look like. With the pattern zoning, we want to make sure that they don't all look exactly the same. And so there's going to be different facade options. You can have a different porch here, a different porch there, and that's all going to be included in the pattern book. If someone's interested in diverting even further from the changes that we have in the pattern book, then we're going to have a process for them to be able to do that as well. So the last pattern that we have is called the walk-up, and that's because you use stairs to go to the next floor, not an elevator. And this can go either 2 or 3 stories in height, just depending on where it's pre-approved. We don't want to pre-approve a 3-story building all over Midtown. That's not what we're doing. And so we have specific areas that we think might be appropriate for a taller structure. So also, depending on where you are, if the underlying zoning allows, and if you're more on a corner or something like that, then you have an option for the bottom story of this building to be used for more of a retail use rather than a residential use. And so this could have 8 to 12 different units depending on the size of it, the 2 or the 3 stories, but also it could have a retail component, and that helps bring a smaller scale of retail into different areas, so that helps increase walkability. So this is another example of what the walk-up structure could look like. This is the taller example. And so you can see that the roofs can even be different as well. And for this structure, as well as all of the other ones, there's different facades, different options. You can use different building materials. And so we want to make sure that they don't all look exactly the same. So that's just about everything that we presented at the public open house on August 7th. If you are interested in learning more, you can check out the Midtown website. It's bryantx.gov/Midtown. And if you have any more questions, or if you're interested in some of the pattern zoning and where it's allowed and potentially building some, you can always contact me.